What up, though? Welcome to the Tinman podcast. This Tinman podcast is advertised and sponsored by Valerias. What is it? This Tinman podcast is sponsored by Valerias Taco Shop of Emerald. We're so grateful to them in the business. And today I have a good friend of mine, man, for the wisdom, clarity, so much things this man offers to the world, man. That I'm grateful to know because I see him at the gym, and I see his work ethic, not just on the drum set, but on the field. We call the gym Vista the whole field. And I want to introduce my friend Jon Dette. Go ahead.
Greetings, everyone. John here.
If you don't know him, he's a drummer. What do you drum? We drumming for who?
Uh, at the time of this recording, I just got off the road with a band called Volbeat, and but mainly I'm known for being the drummer for Slayer, the heavy metal band Slayer. I've also been the touring drummer for Anthrax for several years, and for those really hardcore heavy metal guys, back in the day, back in the '90s, I played for a band called Testament. So it's yeah, it's been a fun ride, and so now here we are, 30 years later.
Man, I'm so honored. Honestly, I'm so honored to sit with you because I know music for me is everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like music just clears the pathway for so many people too. And you're a big inspiration for so many people, man.
Yeah, and
It's a beat, right?
well, as you said, music is it's a universal language.
It is.
And it doesn't matter what your your background is. You and I have two completely different backgrounds, but we can come together, yeah, and unified with music. So and that goes across the whole world, and music has definitely helped people wherever they're at in life. Especially for people that are down and and maybe not where they want to be. Music can definitely help people as a vehicle or a tool out of that in some way. Mainly with lyrics, um, but it's been a great uh, honor and privilege for me to actually be able to turn my talent and my and ultimately my dream and my passion into my career. So it's been a great run for, as I said, I've been doing it for over 30 years now. So it's definitely sit there.
This band is 55.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me.
He's 55, man. He's in great shape. Look at him.
Yeah.
It's an honor, honesty. I'm a little speechless, because when I used to do iron, I'll be bent over, tying rebar, and a lot of guys I knew have the stick in the hard hat, and I'll be like, man, who the hell's Slayer? Because I'm not used to that music.
Yeah.
And the most I started listening to him, like, damn, like you can hear the, and I'll be like, okay. Then I'm like, you know what? I think I know the drum for that band. And actually, the first time I met you, I called around my Iowa brothers and said, guess who I met, dog? I was like a new kid. I was like, guess who I met? The drummer for Slayer, dog. And I tagged him the day we did burpees.
Yeah.
I tagged him, and I was like, dog, I met the guy from Slayer, homie. He was the gym and stuff. So it's a big thing for me because in my community, we're somebody big, very big.
Well, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I'm always humbled when I get compliments from at just all walks of life and everyone, it just reminds me that I'm doing something good. It reminds me that I chose the right path because as a 17-year-old kid, when you're trying to figure out what you're trying to do with your life, right? And I was like, well, am I going to go join the Navy and fly, start flying jets like my dad did? That's why we live here in San Diego, because, my dad was stationed in Coronado back in the 60s. He knew he wanted to be here after he got out of Navy. So am I going to go fly jets because flying was thing, or am I going to be a drummer? You know, and then I remember one day it just hit me like it was like I got home from school, and this is like junior, or no, this is high school. So I was probably 17 years old at the time. I started thinking about I was 60, but I was 17, So I got home. I remember putting my backpack down and I was walking around the hallway and it just stopped. Literally stopped me like time stopped. And I just saw with complete clarity. I can't explain how this or why this happened or what it was, you know, when you have these divine moments or whatever you want to call it. But I saw it. I said, "Oh my God, you're going to be a drummer." And I even saw myself playing for Slayer. And you know, this is me 17 at the time. So it'd be 1987.
Damn.
1987. Oh, so what? I'm 4 years old.
Yeah.
So, and then my mom got home later that day and I was all excited. Mom, I know what I'm going to do with my life.
Yeah.
And she had this happy look like, oh, he's going to fly jets. He knows he's going to, you know, okay. And I go, I'm going to be a heavy metal drummer.
You go beside you.
Yes.
So you go by beats, you do up in a boat.
Encinitas.
Okay, so you do this host.
I'll leave behind for the true soulful, but
So yeah, you like Tony Hawk's era.
yes.
So you skateboard and did all that.
Well, I never skateboarded. I surfed, but I never skateboarded. And I rode motorcycles. You know, like off-road motorcycle.
I'll do first hit the drums.
Well, that's an interesting story because apparently I got a drum set when I was just like a toddler. You know, my parents got me a kit, but I wound up not playing. I wound up tearing this it's called a drum head off, and I made a fort.
Really?
So I'm so tiny. That's what I made, like a fort out of the drum set. But I started tapping, I think it was 6th grade. So I would have been 12, 13 years old. Yeah. And you know, we'd go out to recess in the schoolyard and then we'd come back in and the teacher would read like you know, there's like a book. She would read just to like calm the kids down after recess. And I would take these pencils, literally take the pencils, and I would just start not even thinking what I'm doing, you know, but again, I'm 12 years old, just going, "Brrr," which is would be called a drum roll, but it was a perfect drum roll. I mean, "Brrr," and she would be like, "Brrr," and she would stop it. She would just give me the most evil, stop it. Ooh. And so so she called my mom and said, "You've got to get him a drum set. You got to get him a drum set because he's driving me crazy."
Yeah.
So, but fast forward to, you know, junior high, I joined the concert band where I was actually playing just the snare drum. That is the drum that's between the kick drum, Victor, the drum that's between your legs, right there. And so what happened was, my parents were divorced. So I knew I wanted to play drums. I knew I wanted a drum set. So I asked my mom for a drum set. I asked my dad for a drum set. I figured I had a 50-50 shot of getting one out of the hill, right? And I wound up getting a drum set from both of them. So I had two from day one. And half of it was sparkle red and the other half was sparkle blue. And you know, but I stuck them together. So, which is important as it ties into the style of music that I'm playing, heavy metal, because from day one, I started with these two guys right here. The dark bass. So those, well, it's not, that's debatable whether it's harder, but the thing is that most people, if they do, they either have one bass or the people that have two bass drums, they start with one bass drum. And then there's some catch up to do. He's developing on foot. Yes. So I started with two. And then that record right there had just come out 3 months. That's the Anthrax Fistful of Metal record. Had just come out 3 months before my birthday. And my brother got me that record. So for my birthday, I got two drum sets and that record right there. And the opening song on that Anthrax record, Death Rider. I mean, when you hear the guitars, I mean, man, it's like I saw unicorns, I saw rainbows, and again, it was like that.
When I hear Bree chorus, I think about a wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
Somebody so fast.
Oh shit.
You know what I mean? How is it knowing that I bang? Like, did you read music? Do you just hear somebody playing the guitar and you can know it the beat?
Yeah. So I hear it all. It was really weird. And from day one, like I said, when my brother got me that record, you know, a lot of times, as I've learned later on, when people play drums, they need to learn like what each drum is. You know, this is a tom-tom. This is a cymbal. You know, it's a crash cymbal to be precise, right? Yeah. And the one in the back there, that's a China type. This one. No, above. That's one there. Yeah, on the side. Yep. And then this one here, the high, is called a hi-hat. And then you've got a bass drum or the kick drum and snare drum. So, you know, but I when I listened to music, I already knew what all those drums were. I didn't know the names of them at the time, but I knew like if the drummer was hitting this part up here, I'm like, I knew he was doing that. When I listened to that record and I heard the double bass, I knew what was going on. I couldn't play any of it, which I already knew, but my mind knew what it was. So as that's developed over years and decades, because people ask me, how can you learn songs so fast? Because it, you know, maybe this ties into a conversation later, but you know, there's been situations where I go into these bands at the last minute and I have to learn a lot of songs very quickly. I do it as, yeah. Well, with Volbeat 3 years ago, I had to learn 17 of their songs in 24 hours.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was grinding in here for 6 hours. And then I was on a plane and it was just me listening to the songs.
So how you prepare for that? Like, what do you do? Like, what's your method to memorize that the beat could go with the song?
Listening to the song.
That's it.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of like, I know this will sound weird, but, well, let me use an analogy. So since we work out, a lot of people will say that working at the actual lifting weights part is 20% of it and the diet is 80%, right? Some will even say the workout's 10% and the diet's 90%. But overall, we know the diet is here and the workout really is here in ratio. For me, the workout on the drums, it's the same thing. It's 20%. 80% is me just having headphones on and burning it into my memory. Because where I get it in my head is, you know, like I said, I can hear what's going on. If I burn into my head and I can hear the song without playing the song, that's where it ultimately gets to. That's what gives me the confidence to then, you know, play the song because I know where everything's at. Because remember, whether you know this or not, when a band's on stage, 99.99% of all the bands out there, it will always be relying on the drummer. Of course, you know, and you know, and the confidence of their drummer comes where it looks like they're not even paying attention to the drummer. You know, if you're ever on stage and you see a band do this, and they turn around and they're looking at the drummer. Sorry, I just came out of frame there. But you know, they turn around, they look at the drummer. That's not a good sign. That means something happened. That's not good, you know. But when they're out there and the drummer's back there and they're not looking at the drummer, it's because everything sounds good to them. So for me to get it to that point, I memorize the song in my head where I can literally hear the entire song. Like, you know, I mean, some of these records, like the Metallica Master Puppets record, that is an hour right there. Yeah. So you could pick a song off that record and say, hey, can you play that on drums?
John Gibbon or Nothing Else Matters?
Well, that's not off Master Puppet.
That's not
That's off of
Black Album. That's the Black Album.
that is the Black Album. Yeah. Yeah. So, but you know, going back to what we were talking about, it's I would learn the songs by listening and then practicing because, like I said, I could hear. My mind knew what was going on. Yeah. So that's which really helped with essentially self-teaching myself for a number of years before I had like, you know, I guess traditional lessons. But yeah, that's how it rolls, man.
Like tour with like this band. Were you ever in a dark place? You know, most people that like they draw on the wood, they get to dark places, you know. And were you ever one of those guys that's sitting in dark places?
Well, I wouldn't say that I was in a dark. Turn the do I turn that thing on? Okay. Um. Well, I have never been in a dark place throughout. You know, I guess you could. Well, let me back up. The dark place for me, if I had to pick a time period, would be when I was in a relationship with my last girlfriend, who I was with for 7, 8 years.
How was that?
And Well, like anything, it was good when it was good, and it was not good when it was not good. I mean,
And all of our face, huh? Did that take all about please?
well, she had some health issues that were going on, and it became serious, you know, and it was, you know, I mean, I guess I could talk about it. She had developed insomnia. Yeah. And this is a woman that, was doing yoga, very healthy, a very healthy woman doing yoga, working out, eating right. Um, you know, not drinking in excess, like women, they'll drink their wine, with the girls or whatever. And it's not like she's out doing all night benders or anything like that. And, but she had developed insomnia and she could not sleep and she didn't know why. And out of sheer desperation, after a couple weeks or whatever it was dealing with this, she told me, she's like, I got to go to the doctor. And I said, you've got to be careful because if you go to an allopathic doctor, you're going to come home with 3 prescriptions, 3 prescription drugs. I'm telling you right now, that blah, 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 blah. What's wrong with me? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Here's 3 prescription drugs. And she went, and sure enough, you guess what she came home with? 3 prescription drugs, an antidepressant, a benzodiazepine, and a freaking tranquilizer. So essentially a tranquilizer.
Oh, it's really too like in this like space of this.
And she doesn't take any medication up until this point, right? So
That's hard.
and like I said, out of sheer desperation, she's like, oh, she took the medication. And I remember waking up the next morning, and she was always up early, so I didn't really think anything of it. She was already up out of bed. And I woke up and I came downstairs and the front door was wide open. It was like wintertime in San Diego, which isn't, some people out there winter, they laugh at us for a 40-degree weather, right? But the door was open, and that wasn't normal. And I was like, why is the door open? And it was like early, it was like 6:30 in the morning. And I just, half awake myself, I just woke up. I walked outside and I'm looking it out in the distance. And, we live it was like a nice residential neighborhood. And I see somebody walk me, and I see our little daughter, that was next. So I'm like, that has to be her, So I yelled her name. What do and I'm not going to say her name because I want to protect her anonymity, of course. But I yelled her name, no turn around. So I start running, like running, and as I get closer, she's walking, she's in her jammies, she's got a blanket on, and she literally she looks like she'd been drugged, and she just was like a zombie, literally a zombie, just looking at me, like didn't even know who I am. That's fucked up. Yeah, that's fucked up. And I was like, I said her name. I'm like, "Boo, are you okay?" And she wouldn't even say anything. So I literally picked her up, walked her back, and that was and that was really, I mean, without going into other things that happened during that time period, but it just led down a dark rabbit hole as part of her trying to get control of her sleep.
Yeah.
And but once she went into that, I'm going to say it took a solid year to, and just, I mean, things that are just, I just don't even want to talk about it, more to just protect her, because it's, when she's ready to tell that story, it should be her to tell that story, not me putting it out there, because it's so personal. But, all right, huh? Dude, well, and I had to pass on, tours at the time, because I had to, I felt the need that I needed to be home to take care of her, because she was not, it got to a point where she was not functional.
So you think relationships really take a toll on people, huh? Like if you're be that partner is trying to help the next person or take you with your personal
Well, right? Dude, it's, I guess that depends on people's perception or interpretation of when they think a relationship is. For me, you know, if I'm going to be with somebody, I'm all in. There's no dipping the toe in there, you know. And I mean,
It's like it's good, it's bad when it's bad. Like we're in 100%.
and 100% means like, here's the password to my phone. You know, here's my Instagram. Here's all the social media. Here, you know, here's my bank account info. If you know, like there's nothing to hide at that point. You know, now if some fan sends some titty picture, baby, you know,
Yeah, that's not how me.
that's not on me. But you know, hey, you know, just understand that sometimes happens. You know, and but that's not understand that's not me. She's not responding to a DM. But what I'm ultimately saying is that for me being all in, I'm focused on no one else. And with regard to what happened, yes, you know, it's kind of as the vows for marriage go, you know, in sickness and in health. Well, I need a piece of paper and a priest to tell me, you know, to formalize my feelings and my intent of my relationship. You know, I'm already there for sickness and health, you know, if I'm in it with a relationship. So, and she was definitely in sickness, if you want to call it that. And so, you know, being a man, being her partner, I am going to do the right thing, you know, and like I said, dude, it's going to be different for everybody. You know, there's people that, you know, as we find in life, there's no right or wrong answers or, you know, right or wrong decisions. There's only what's right or wrong for each of us. You know, I mean, it's like, I could say it's wrong to, you know, I don't know. It would be wrong to, I think it would be wrong to leave a woman in that situation. But there's other people that be like, you know, she's got to deal with her own thing. So who am I to say that decision's wrong? I just know it's absolutely wrong for me. Yeah. You know, so that's yeah, it's, that's the way it is, biz. So, you know, but it's doesn't make the relationship yeah.
But I was lost to that's a good trade, man. And what's on with the yo and how's fitness being an impact there, like being a drummer and like the fitness thing and I see you go to the beach a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah. What does the beach do to you, right? What does it bring out there?
Well, I'll hit the beach real quick. I mean, I grew up here in Texas, so I'm a beach guy. I'm a lizard. You know, we have bask in the sun. Yeah, well, here and at least I do. So I love going to the beach. I love grounding. You know, for anybody that gets into grounding, you know, feet on the earth and all that.
That's real basic. We don't know about that. Let us know about that. What is that?
Well, it's you know, the earth has a charge, and you know, when your bare feet are on the ground, you're getting a charge from the earth, essentially, right? And uh, I'm sure there's people that can explain it way better than I can. Yeah, but I just enjoy being in the water. I enjoy, you know, I'm a fish as well. I've got to be near the water. Yeah, whether it's the ocean or a lake or a river. Um, so, but yeah, that's the reason I look being at the beach. Just, you know, and obviously being in the sun is, you know, contrary to what others might say, it is beneficial.
I've heard people talk about grounding, and I was like, man, what is it? Like, what does it bring to you? Like,
Yeah.
does it bring you peace? Does it bring you clarity? Does it bring you just calmness?
Well, I think that's all a byproduct of it. You know, it's kind of like, you know, our going now into the fitness, you know, well, people say they want to get abs or they want to get arms and all that. It's like, well, I took a different approach where I was like, I'm just gonna focus on the daily work, and I'm gonna take a mindset that the abs and you know, the veins and all that, it's just a residual of the work that I'm doing. Sure, you know, which it is. You know, just the same as if we're not in shape and we got big old titties and a gut. You know, it's simply the residual of what we're doing, right? Um, I've always I got into fitness right after high school. I was in a really bad car accident. We were just before graduating high school. You know, stupid kid. Finals were done. We finished finals. I was, you know, stupid 18-year-old kid drinking, partying. And I drove. No, I gave up drinking about 3 years ago. I realized that. It's great. It's not a sobriety thing. It's literally just a health thing. It's like, hey, when's the last time you had Kentucky Fried Chicken? Oh, what? I ain't touching Kentucky Fried. No, it sounds good, I guess, but no, I'm not into Kentucky. But I understand that addiction is a real thing for people. So I'm not downplaying that. I understand people, sobriety and all that. But for me, it's not. It was literally a health thing. Yeah. But I was in a really bad accident, and I actually I crashed a car. I rolled the car. I flew out of the car. Well, the car bounced over me. I mean, a mom and her two kids saw the whole thing happen. Broke my femur bone in half, fractured my pelvis, fractured both my shoulders, fractured 3 ribs. Lucky to be alive. Yeah, and but that actually wound up being one of the greatest experiences for me, if you can believe it, because it completely, it sobered me up, for one, because prior to that, I was just, I was a teenage kid, dysfunctional family, parents divorced, just trying to navigate through the booby traps of life, you know? I mean, and how do you do that as a teenager? I guess you do it the best you can based on what you have to work with. And, my dad was always gone. I had the house all to myself. So it's like, you know, I would conflict two separate parents. Like, you think it took a toll on you? Did it affect you with you? I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm really dove into it, but I think it definitely, I mean, I was 7 years old when it happened. But yeah, I that way. Like,
That matters in the relationship of parents.
just you mean like with an intimate relationship or like,
So yeah, but affect a child that's involved, like you will be a child at the time of video affects them bigger.
well, there's no question it's going to affect a child, but I think it's really difficult, in my opinion. It's really difficult for the parents because they have to put their personal stuff aside for the interest of the child. You know, I could be like, you fucking bitch, you cheated on me, or you did this. It's just like, and you can't, like, they're innocent and all that. They shouldn't hear any of it. So there takes I mean, talking about the discipline involved. But I want to go back to the fitness thing because you asked me about fitness, and it's an important part. Um, so the fitness, after the accident, I did a 180 in my life. I stopped drinking. I stopped doing drugs. And I graduated high school in a wheelchair. Yeah. But I then totally got good friends, and I started working out. There was a gym in Cardiff by the Sea, Gold's Gym. Yeah. And back in the 80s and early 90s. And so I started working out, and that's where I really started and I got into a lot of self-development at the time as well. And so that was just when I talk about the accident being one of the best things that could happen to me, it was because it changed every aspect for me of how, my physical health, my mental health, everything. And so it's been a part of my life ever since that point. And I've gone in and out of, fitness throughout my life, but when I started playing drums professionally, the music is so physical. Yeah. So, it's unlike any other type of drumming out there, really. I always knew at an early age that in order to do this at the top level, my strong opinion was you need to treat it like an athlete, like a professional athlete. Yeah. And not a bowler, right? Not pickleball. Like you got to treat this like an NFL, like a linebacker or a wide receiver, or even a soccer player. Those guys, they got to run around the field, draw off creates time. And so, but like I said, I'd been in and out of it, but it was during COVID, and like everyone else, well, not like everyone else, but like me, I let myself go during that time. And the couch got comfortable, and, we were all locked down. And that, for me, that translated somehow, it was 2 bottles of wine a day. That was my thing, wine. I wasn't like a heavy alcohol drinker, but wine was my go-to. And then I would convince myself I was eating healthy by having some gluten-free pasta and some free range, turkey in my marinara sauce that I would make. And, like, oh, look, I'm eating healthy as I'm drinking 2 bottles. And I just, dude, I ballooned up. And I remember one day I was getting in the shower, and, just before getting in the shower, I just looked at myself in the mirror. And dude, that voice that talks to you in your head, the voice that says, oh, you shouldn't have that extra drink. Oh, you really shouldn't have that extra slice of pizza. That voice that we always hear throughout our lives. That's your buddy's girl. You really shouldn't be flirting with her, or whatever it is. That voice started not talking to me. That voice started yelling. I could hear it yelling at me, like the drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket. What the fuck, Daddy? What the fuck? Dude, yelling at me. It's one thing for people if they have never been exposed to health and fitness in their life, and they're heavy, they're overweight, they're out of shape. Yeah, because they don't know any better. No one's taught them. They haven't, and whether they've actively tried to find it or not, nobody's been able to actually, at that point in their life, nobody's helped them. So yeah, in a way, they have an excuse that they're like that, right? But if you have trained yourself and educated yourself to be healthy, and all the health aspects, all the benefits of health, and then knowing all that, you let yourself get into that heavy, unhealthy place. You are actively choosing that. And that is a whole other laziness, negative frequency, negative vibration, things going on in your brain. And that's what my brain, that's what that voice was yelling at me. This, you should be here, and you are literally here, dude. Like, what the fuck, you fuck? People like that. What's going to happen to people and this is me at 51 at the time. And so, and it had an effect on me, dude. I remember, I remember even said, look at your, like, the voice was like yelling, like, look at your tits. Men are not supposed to have tits, and you have tits, he'd just yell it. But that's what really changed the course. And ultimately, I told myself that day, or as I was having that conversation with myself that day, dude, you're 51. Yeah. How do you want the second half of your life to go? Yes, you just finished the first half. It's halftime. And how do you want it to go? Because if you keep going down this road, well, all you got to do when you go out today to Costco or to Sprouts or to Trader Joe's or wherever you're going to go, Walmart, just take a gander at the herd and just see what's in store for you. Because if you're going to treat yourself the way that you're going right now, this is what you're going to have to look forward to. Yeah. Or you can go back to what you know is going to be beneficial, what is going to be amazing and great for you in every way, physically, financially, spiritually, mentally, you name it. Business relationships. People won't just look at, when you're fit and in shape, dude. You know how people look at you differently now? Yeah. They'll be like, oh, hey, even at the gym, like when I go out to the gym, like at some of these, if I'm on tour, like I was on tour last week and I was at a couple of the hotel gyms, or just, I'm out of town and I'm in a gym, a fit guy that's like, it's where they have the guys like, it seemed like some guys getting in the way, but when it fit, like you just notice how people will treat you a little differently. Like, oh, yeah, well, he knows what he's doing. Yeah. And the thing is too, what I love about when we get ourselves in shape, Cisco, is that, you can fake how great your relationship is with a woman. Yeah. You could fake how much money you have. You could even fake that you're an authority and a certain, I mean, pick your field, whatever. But you can't fake a fit body, dude. No, you can't fake. There's no chamber like in Captain America where some guy can go into a chamber and come out looking all jacked and ripped. There just isn't work for that. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or a bartender. Yeah, the billionaire has so many advantages except to get that body in shape over the bartender. But that's all true. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. It's not a money thing. It's a discipline, yes, and action and consistency. So as I went into the fitness thing to wrap this up with the fitness, I not only decided that I needed to go all in, but as I decided that I was going to continue doing this in another aspect, but if I'm going to go out on tour, it's only going to be with the largest bands in the planet, And that said, now there's another moral ethic decision in that as well. You've got to be the best drummer, on the highest level. If you're playing for the bands on the highest level, you've got to be a drummer at the highest level. Well, especially if I'm playing physical style music. Yeah. I don't want to be that guy that's in his 50s going, oh, remember when he played here, that in his 20s, and now he's playing like this? No. I want people walking away right now, Jon, at 55, going, fuck, did you see Dette fucking play? Dude, did you see Dette's in fucking shape and blah, 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 right? Because from a music aspect for a moment, the fans that are paying good money to go see a show, they deserve nothing less. They deserve nothing less than a great performance and the songs being played the way it's live right there. That's bro. It pains me. It pains me to see so many of my colleagues, not just drummers, singers, guitar player, other musicians out there right now that are not aging well. Yeah. They're not aging well. They could age well. Yeah. Maybe they don't know how to age well. Or maybe some of them do. And they're in the same boat that I was. They know what to do, but they might not realize that experience that colleague through that man. Well, like put it out to like, man, I've been to these different drain, we're in the same spot. I can help you. Well, yeah, I think that's coming, dude. But ultimately, I wanted to be at least an example, yeah, and an inspiration for those guys. So that if they're sitting around the campfire, so they'll be, and they're like, oh, it's the worst comment and the worst phrase in the world. I hate this. It sucks getting old. Oh, it sucks getting old, and this. And at least they can go, oh, but wait, did you see Dette? Yeah. And it kind of, it shatters that whole narrative of it sucks getting old. Because here's my thing. It doesn't suck getting old. You suck at getting old. There you go. Yeah, like that. Like because that's one of the things I said to myself. I'm like, dude, bro, it doesn't suck getting old. I suck at getting old. I sucked at getting old, but I don't suck at getting old anymore. Well, you look amazing. You look amazing. Thank you, bro. And for being 55, I'm like, man. I'm in my 40s, so I'm like, dude, like new cars. Like I see older men, they're like on the shelves. Like, dude, Car's the man, dude. That looks amazing, huh? Dude, it looks amazing, dude. He's and not just looks amazing, but his physical agility of what he can do. Man, I tell people that proves an athlete. That man, I call him uncle. I call him Theo. He's a straight athlete, dude. That man, have you seen that man throw a football? No, but I am such a that man's an athlete at his age. He can move. I was doing the I like doing the ab. Yeah. The ab wheel for my abs. And so, like most people, I'll be on my knees and I'll roll forward and I'll stand up. He does it standing. Yeah. I got it from him. Yeah. I do it standing up because of him. And he saw me doing it on my knees. He goes, hey, he goes, you should be doing it like that. I'm like, oh shit. That's a whole other level. Right there, like there, because a lot of people think like, oh man, you gotta look big and like, no man, you're big, you gotta move too. Yeah. You got the agile, Yeah. That man right there he's probably a little bit taller than me. That man moves. For his age, I think he's in better shape than most 20-year-olds. He's I believe he's been on more cover fitness magazines than any other male model on the planet. Yeah, that's his thing. I mean, he going all the way back. I remember seeing him back in the, well when I started working out in the late '80s. I remember seeing him on the cover of some of the fitness magazines.
When I seen him, like, and I actually met him and actually started molding us, I was like, man, I see these guys back in your day. That's you.
Yeah.
I was like, damn,
And that's you, and this is you now, and you're still
amazing.
you're still living it. You know,
I feel like that's a good example you could carry, a good example I could carry. Like the ones that can, like for other men too. You know what I mean? Men make better men. I feel like men are losing the good men because everybody thinks the truth tough. I feel like these little podcasts, these talks, these conversations, bring good out. You know what I'm saying? And plant seeds around the world about like, look, man, it doesn't matter where you're at in life, and that is what you're choosing to do with yourself.
yeah. And when people, especially the younger the kiddos, can see how guys like you and I, Clark, are living our lives. You know, they can go, you know what? Yeah, I've seen you guys drink, but I want that. You know, I don't. You know, you guys are doing that. You know, uh, I I want to say this is a Wes Watson quote, so I want to give credit where credit's due. But because I was just getting ready to say a quote, your body is your billboard. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was a Wes Watson quote. So I get letting everyone know it's not mine. That's Wes. But it's so true. Your body is your billboard. It literally will tell everybody who you are. And you know, and as I said, we can't fake it. Oh, right. And everybody knows that because at some point everyone has been through some type of fitness program or some type of fitness journey, you know. And I'll say this too. The worst thing that somebody can say for their fitness, I guess a little sidetrack here, is when somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want to drop a few pounds. Yeah. I want to lose a little bit of weight. Yeah. My reply is don't, just keep doing what you're doing because you're not, you're just going to go through this pain and you're going to just go right back to being you. If you want to, hey, I want to lose a little bit of me. Yeah. Up here, I want to change a little bit of me. I need to lose a little bit of me out of here. Okay. Now we can have a conversation about changing this.
Do you think mentor approaches are very important? As what else? Mentor approach very important.
Essential.
Yes,
Essential. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not, I don't think you, I mean, depending on the person, I don't, my personal opinion would be, I don't need a mentor or coach 24/7, 5 days a week. Uh, but if I'm getting ready to go into you know, down a road, down a path, 100% a coach or mentor. I mean, you want somebody that's been down that road. Yeah. You want to compress time. You know, you want to know that you're going to go down that road as intelligently as possible. And that means not wasting a bunch of time.
Yeah. Would you rather have somebody that's educated to say, get a therapist, or tell you a book pull, or tell you how it should be by impact, or somebody that's has experience, that been through it mentally, they know how does it feel, been there, done that, and now they're trying to help people. Who do you choose if you want to get coached by any of the two?
Well, I'll answer it like this. If I'm going to look for results for anything in my life, yeah, I'm only going to listen to somebody that has the specific results that I'm looking for. And meaning, you know, if I want to get jacked and in shape, why would I listen to a yoga instructor? And they could be the best yoga instructor on the planet. You know, they could pull their leg fucking straight up. Right, but they're here, you know what I meant. I'm not looking to pull my leg straight up like this. If I am, that's the person I'm going to go to, you know. But if I want to put on some muscle and some size, I'm going to go to somebody that has proven successful results. I don't care what degree is on the wall. I don't care what piece of paper or what school they went to, because their results and how they've helped others is truly what's going to matter, you know. And let's just be honest. How many people have degrees and pieces of paper on the wall that they just got lazy and they're not getting sound advice anymore. You know? Very true. It just, so it's not, it's got to be somebody that's not only has the results, but they're actively showing it right at that time. You know, I don't even know if I could take, if I wanted to get serious about like putting on size and stuff, and I was given the opportunity. I know this is going to probably trigger a lot of people. I don't even know if like someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger would be somebody to go to right now, you know, because he's not actively in. I mean, he has been for so many years. The knowledge and experience, of course, I would. I'm not. Yeah, I would be honored to even be in a room with the man, you know. But as far as a day-to-day plan, I personally would want somebody that's in the trenches doing it day by day and has the results, the results here and now that I'm working for. So I hope that doesn't trigger anybody else, but you know what I was saying.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you. It's an honor that you brought Jordan and myself to your studio. This is his drum set. And yeah, thank you for the advice. Thank you for sitting down and it's an honor. Yeah, and keep grinding and I'd like for you to play some drums and let us out with the podcast. Let people know where they can find you.
Oh, so yeah, you can find me on Instagram is pretty much where I live, at Jon Dette, JONDVTT. I just crossed over to the dark side. I'm now on TikTok as well. It's crazy, dude. Though, yeah, I was using. So you can find me on TikTok as well. I think that's Jon.Dette. And then, of course, YouTube, where I do a lot of my drum videos. That would be Jon Dette Official, I believe, or Jon Dette Drummer. Well, you type Jon Dette in YouTube up, right? And I'm sure it's going to pop up. So, but yeah, you find me there, and looking forward to the drumming course that I'm getting ready to release. And you never know, maybe I'll do a fitness thing for musicians as well. Cabal, please, I believe it at the show. I'll cart. Yeah,
You got it. And thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Please exit with the drum set. So
Well, you want me to jump on right now? Oh shit! You know it's too early in the morning for this, Cisco.
No, that's all right.
What? All right. I might be able to put the gloves on. Usually I wear gloves, but oh, where am I racing on there? How's that? See, all right?